As you can hear, everybody's talking about the new podcast from Sonny Grasso, the Songfather, called Ooooops, I Did It Again, where he shares stories about etiquette, class, dignity, all of which he has none at certain times when dealing with celebrities. Sit back and enjoy yourself as Sonny Grasso does it again. Whoops. I crack myself up. Welcome everybody to chapter 6, I think it is, of Whoops, I Did It Again. The new version of the podcast, which I love to do because I love to talk, and it's everything works out pretty good. It's gotten to a point where people are asking me, well, what exact time are you on the air? So, we could make arrangements, and wow, that's pretty damn good to hear shit like that. No longer up with WBXL. I don't even know if they're still on. I think they are, but it was a nice thing that I looked forward to. It was a lot of hard work, but it was fun. So there's a couple of stations down here now. They're saying, why don't you just put something together and send it to them, and maybe you can do the same thing. Do it right from your home and just email it in. So hey, you never know. One never knows, do one. So today is Ash Wednesday, the beginning of Lent for Catholics all around and Christians all around the world. And so I put up my thing on Facebook like I do for every holiday. Of every denomination, there is no one that is better than the other, as long as the goal is human compassion and peace and love, and who cares, whatever you are. And I heard from a friend of mine that's Jewish, and I had on my Facebook thing that it's about remembering and repenting, and he said, "Well, we Jews, we don't repent. We broadcast what we did." That's what the world needs now. Forget about Jackie DeShannon's beautiful song. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. We have love everywhere. We need laughter. Ooh, I hear laughter in the rain, walking hand in hand with the one I love. Neil Sedaka, who I always thought liked other people that kneeled. But no. But what... I forget what station it is. It's either the 50s or the 60s on Sirius XM, where he has a show. Of course, he plays some of his own songs, and why shouldn't he? But, all the other songs that he plays. But he talks about all the songs that he wrote for people. Like, it's unbelievable. It's like Linda Thomas, listen to me. I'm sorry, LT. Linda Thompson, who was the main squeeze. Everybody thought she was going to be the next Mrs. Presley with Elvis. It's so much more than that. The hee-haw fame, because she was on hee-haw for a while, and then, of course, her relationship with Elvis. But, my God, the song by Whitney Houston, I Want to Run to You, was written by Linda Thompson. Unbelievable. Great song, great job done by Whitney Houston, but written by, you look it up, Google her. One thing that we have at our disposal, and you've heard me say it before quite a few times, but right in your hands, probably right now as you're listening to this, is every encyclopedia ever written from the time anybody could write is right there in the palm of your hands. And people still do. You'll read on different social media platforms. Does anybody know if there's a nice Italian restaurant in this town? Or does anybody know if there's a French dry cleaners? all the information you need, every possible thing is right there in the palm of your hand. But we're too lazy to look things up. So I'm asking you now, don't be lazy. You look up songs written by Linda Thompson, and you will not believe how many freaking hit songs she wrote. Unbelievable. More than me. Oh, my God, that's even unbelievable. So, so the beginning of Lent, Ash Wednesday, where, people are asked to give something up for Lent in honor and representation of everything that Christ gave up, all the way to including his life. His life while he was alive, because he only had one job and one goal, and he stuck to it all the way. And then, when we get into Easter week, always the saddest day of the week for me to think what we as human beings did to this man who did nothing but talk about peace and love and being nice to each other and don't steal from each other and all that. Unbelievable. So, you always give something up. Kids always, I'm giving up candy, I'm giving up this. And one year I said, I'm giving up. And Ma was so mad at me for saying that. I said, okay, Ma, I'm sorry. I'll give up skydiving. Oh, you jackass. Anyway, so here we are. And today is a gloomy day. Raining and drizzling on and off. And I just had the news on before. And they said, a little unexpected. But we said we might have some showers. And they're right. And for the most part, they're pretty good down here, the weather people, in predicting what's going to happen. Especially in this state is the most volatile weather state, ever. You wake up in the morning and look out the window and go, well, that's it. My plans are ruined for the day. And then 2 hours later, you look out the window and it's 80, 85 degrees out and not a cloud in the sky. Then you get all ready and you get down, you get dressed, you go down to the beach, and then 3 o'clock you get drenched on. Well, I guess we ain't going out to dinner tonight. 5 o'clock, it's a perfect night. So, anyway. So, to those that do celebrate, happy Lent and a blessed Ash Wednesday. And, I'm not a big fan of giving something up as long as you remember, especially through Lent, of everything, like I said, that was done. Then it was given up. No meat on Fridays. That was really not a lentil thing as much as it was back right before World War I, when all the men were going to be pulled out and sent over. Quiet, women, quiet, and sent off to war, and weren't going to be there to work the farms and everything else. So, if they figured if we could not eat meat as a country just one day a week, that would help preserve the food and stuff that we could send over to the soldiers that were fighting for us there. So that's where that all came from, and it stuck over the years. And then it got a little modified. We're just giving up red meat because that was okay. No, now it's all meat. Well, you know what? Now Sundays. Whatever you gave up for Lent, you can have on Sunday now. And Daddy-O never succumbed to that. Nope, gave it up, he gave it up. That's it, 7 days a week. I said, yeah, but it's okay. No, it's not okay. No, the church said it's okay. I don't care. Okay, Dad, you got it. And then it's, if you're over 70, you don't have to give up anything for Lent, and you can have meat on Fridays. And, okay. And there's, all right, 65. All right, 60, you can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself. You want to give something up, give it up. If you don't want to give something up, don't give it up. It's not a sin. It's just something that they're asking us to do for many, 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 many years. And, I understand the reason, and I think it's a good thing, like I said, but I don't think it's a necessary thing. But certainly getting into Easter week, that's when I think you should really, if it was possible, fast for the whole week. But whatever you give up for Lent, you just have to wait till Easter Sunday. Then that got changed. You could, after 3 o'clock on Good Friday, may he rest in peace forever and ever, amen, when Jesus died on the cross at 3 o'clock. After that, Lent is now considered to be over, unless you want to carry it all the way through to Easter. But so just so many things for a man. Like I said, all he did was go around and just preach and try to, bring love to everybody, and it just shows you what goes on, even to this day, right in front of our very face. And excuse me, Lord, I didn't mean to use you as a lead into last night's debacle, but I watched about 12 seconds of it because I knew, talking about the State of the Union, because I knew, there would be enough stuff on social media to understand what happened and heard what was said. And, I remember back, there was a time where the State of the Union, the only people that knew what was going to be said was the President of the United States. Maybe the Vice President had a little, peek into what was being said. But it was supposed to be the President talking to the people of the United States. And then little by little, you know what? I think we were doing good until when he made that State of the Union. We don't speak as good as. Then they started hiring speechwriters and this and more. Now there's whole meeting rooms. 20 people in a room, all deciding what's the best thing to put down for this speech. Then the president, and they have cues in there. All right, after the president says this paragraph here, I want everybody in the audience to start cheering and stand up, and we'll be behind him, and we'll stand up cheering too. And it's just, it's embarrassing, to be honest with you, because it's no more spontaneous eruptions of cheering and joy and positivity. It's and support for the president. It's the whole party. It's a Democratic president, and it's the whole way. We can't afford to lose any people in Congress and in the Senate and this and that. So we all got to band together and make it like the greatest speech that was ever told, ever in the history of talking. And it's just, the phoniness is so obvious, and it drips out of the television all over the rug. It's just so disgusting. But I just, even at one point, knucklehead there, Pelosi, jumped up and started to clap and was like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. So she folded her hands together, I guess like to remind herself, don't open them to clap. But then she starts rubbing her knuckles together. She looked like a fly, And I'm not saying that Joe Biden is what I'm about to say, but she looked like a fly, staring at a lump of shit. I mean, oh, my God. And and it's live, so you can't edit it and take it out. It's so ridiculous, which the staged uproars and his embellishment on the facts and his outright lies on some of the facts, and it's just a whole. Now all of a sudden, we shouldn't defund the police. We should be funding the police. Two of the people behind you were behind the defunding the police. One of them was about abolishing the police. But since now it's so unpopular, since now crime is up 34% across this whole country, violent crimes are up close to 70% throughout the whole country, somewhere in there. And so now you have to say, well, wait a minute, we are definitely not for this. We need more police out there. We need to fund them. We need to help them. Oh, now all of a sudden you need to help them. That's what I'm talking about. TV and all the news and bits and whatever you need, like I just said, is in the palm of your hand, is a blessing. It's also a curse, because you could tell your half-truths or your whole truths and nothing but the truth, so help me God. But you could do all that and reach billions of people in a matter of seconds, Back a while back, you used to have to wait till, if you didn't catch it, talking at the water cooler, as they used to say, or reading it in the paper, or catching up on different news programs for the recaps. Now it's like, boom. Oh, my God, I had to walk the dog. What did he say? You just go back. You go to YouTube, go to this place, go to that, and you can watch the whole speech all over again. and not good. So I hope everybody's seeing it. And if they're listening to anything that anybody says, stop printing money. You keep printing money to bail your ass out of the mistakes that you made, and you're causing, although you said unemployment's the best it's been in 44 years. Anyway, so I have a couple of clips from last night's speech. Right before Nancy Pelosi stood up and did that thing with her knuckles, her and Camel Toe, I shouldn't say that, I'm sorry. Her and the Vice President Camel Toe could be heard talking back and forth to each other, and it was like pretty crazy. Yeah, they had microphones there, all right. And then later on, as he started spewing out all his numbers, I don't know how they managed to do this live. They must have put their hand over the lady's mouth, but that's what we heard. Yeah. What a speech. It's a speech that will go down in history. That's right, I said history. So anyway, getting back to the premise, the genre of this new round of, since I don't want to get in trouble because I heard they're cracking down again. On the previous podcast, I do a couple of my own songs. I sing some songs, but I'd also play a song or two. And all of a sudden, boom. Notifications from YouTube. Your podcast has been muted because you played whatever. Who the hell knows? And, I understand about copyright infringement and outright stealing and all that stuff. I do. Believe me, I do it. I'm not in anybody's category that I listen to out there. But thanks to this new technology that just keeps getting better and now almost to the point of some of the worst movies ever made back in the 50s and 60s about what it was going to be like in the year 2000s. It's all coming true, And now with this whole new thing with the meta, look that up too, metaverse. It's like a movie that was with, who the heck was it? Michael Douglas. I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. What's her name? That was married to Bruce Willis, Demi Moore. That movie, I don't remember the name of it, I'm sorry. But there was a part in that movie where they were talking about this metaverse thing, and you could just go into this universe, this alter universe, and as long as you have the thing on your eyes and the special glove on, and you could take files out. You could be sitting in your couch doing it, but you could be taking files out from your office 50, 60 miles away, and you could read everything right there. And we're like right around the corner from that happening. So, I don't get it, but I understand about the reason. But there should be some kind of a limit. 10 years. If you haven't written a new song or whatever, if you wrote a song and I've been getting royalties and everything for 10 years, you don't have to mute it anymore. Unless you're still together, you're still traveling, you're still performing. I can almost see that too. But you've got a guy over here, I'm going to be 70 years old before I can blink my eyes. Well, am I making money off your song from 1962, 1964, whatever? Am I making any money? Number one, no. All I'm doing is resurrecting memories for people that haven't heard it anymore because of today's shit that they play out there. But it makes no sense to me to come after me and mute me because I just, I don't know, to be honest with you. I didn't take any money out of the guy or the girl's mouth. I didn't take any food off their table, and I didn't take any money out of their pockets. So I don't quite understand why I'm such a threat and I had to be muted. I didn't get permission. You know, if I'm looking to make money, then like with some things that I did, and you know, I'm all over the platforms downloading and shit like that. You know, the podcast is doing the same thing, but that's through the same venue. But I'm not making money on the podcast. But I did a whole bunch of things since Christmas time that I am on the same platforms, but on a level where if you want to hear it, you have to pay for it. So if, you know, with 99 cents, I think it is. So if it's 99 cents a download, well, then okay, so then you got to pay a piece. So that's why I had to join the BMI and all that shit, and I get that. But not on a thing like this. It's so stupid. It really makes me angry. It makes me angry. So let me take a quick commercial break here, double commercial break, and then we'll come right back, and we'll get in today's Oops, I Did It Again in the political field. Hanging out with Tom Galata and the mayor of New York, 2 mayors of New York, and actually, did it again. Absolutely. Be right back.
Have you eaten here before?
Nope.
Good morning, gentlemen. Can I share our specials with you?
Sure.
First, we have the seafood special. It's actually been sitting around here for a week. Then there's the cream of chicken soup. It's had no refrigeration since it was made yesterday. We're known around these parts for our food poisoning. What can I get you?
Yeah, don't think we can stay for lunch.
Wouldn't it be great if you could be warned of life's risks? If you have diabetes, you can. There's a simple blood test called A1C that can help measure your risk of complications from diabetes. Why is it important? Because more than 600 people every day die from diabetes and its complications. If your A1C is above 7, your doctor can show you how to lower it. If you have diabetes, know your risk. Know your A1C. Ask your doctor. Or for more information, go to www.diabetesaonc.org or call 1-877-TEST-A1C. Brought to you by the American Diabetes Association, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation International, and the Ad Council.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things, like someone is having a stroke. You need to know the sudden signs. Look fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. And then T, time. Time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org for further information. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, the Ad Council, WBXO, and the Songfather. So there you go. Little public service announcements. And they're called PSAs. It always makes me nervous because when I had the prostate cancer, that's knocking on wood, and the numbers are still good there. So the numbers are still are good for my eye. The doctor was so very happy. And I got, what's today? Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday. 3 days left of the steroid drops in my left eye because that was the first surgery. And then I'm done with that. And then I think a week and a half left with the other eye because it goes down. Like all prednisone, if you've ever been sick, unfortunately, and had to go through that pack. You know, the first day it's 6, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you're done with it. So it's kind of the same concept here, except it goes 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's been 4 drops in each eye because they overlapped each other since the 2 surgeries were a week apart. So it's been 4 drops in each eye for a little over a week, then 3 drops, 2, whatever. Okay, so we got that. And so I don't have to put the glasses on anymore. And it worked. I can still hold things up and I can still read them. I don't need cheater glasses. And so, you know, all in all, it looks like it's going to be a very happy turnout, thank God. And my body is a fighter. I'm very proud of it, except when I look in the mirror. But it really, I have a great, for such a compromised immune system, 3 times with cancer and other problems in the CRPS, and I mean, it's unbelievable the way the body fights. And I guess it's because I treat it so good, you know. No, I do. I watch what I eat, and I watch what I drink, and then I watch it disappear. All right, take it easy. Take it easy. It wasn't that funny, but yeah. So anyway, so it looks good. And then about 2 weeks ago, maybe, all of a sudden my feet were blowing up, and I mean blowing up. So I thought maybe it was the CRPS again, because it got down to my feet. It started my left hand, wrist, then up the arm, shoulder, across the shoulder, down the right, and then it was into the feet. But, so they would swell up a little, but these were unbelievably like balloons. Picture a rubber glove, and, you like to blow it up sometimes. That's what it looked like. And I remember, sadly, that Ma had that as she was going through her health problems. And it would be mostly with when the congestive failure would kick in, her feet would blow up, or you couldn't even get her sneakers on, forget anything else. And then Daddy, the same thing at the end. So when I saw that, I was kind of doing a little poo-poo in my pants. And but I always go to the worst in everything in life, in every facet of what the worst something could be or could happen. And then I work my way back down instead of the other way, where most people try to stay cool. And most of the time, if it is something, it's too late, when or the impact of when you find out the truth is so hard to take. So I go the other way. And I'm thinking, I'm not doing anything different. I still go out and I walk around once in a while and, get up and I do, I like to, a couple of times a week, just go to Home Depot and just walk around the store, or Target or I could easily spend an hour there. So it's good exercise and, the sights aren't bad either. So, it's not that, it's not this. And I said, all right, well, I do like to have one, maybe two espressos with some Sambuca a day. Maybe that's too much. I usually have like one about 2 o'clock and then one about 8 o'clock. All right, so I cut that out for like a week and a half. Nothing happened. It stayed the same. And then I started saying, wait a minute. I bet you it's the prednisone. Even though it just drops in the eyes, first of all, it's absorbed quicker through the eyes than it would be if it was a pill I was swallowing. So I'm like, wow, I think that could be it. So I had a telemed meeting, whatever the hell you want to call it, with my pain doctor who's in charge of my CRPS. Right off the bat, he goes, oh, no, I agree with you. That's got to be what it is. See if they can give you something else. And so I asked the eye surgeon, and he said, no, it's the only eye drop that you can use after surgery like that. And it's very important that you continue, don't stop early because everything's starting to look better either, but especially this. And I said, all right. So I showed him the feet. And he was, I maybe stick them in ice, elevate it a lot, drink a little bit more water and see if that helps. And, all right. So we'll see. So now that I'm only down to 1 drop a day, I notice now that my right foot is almost back to normal, and the left foot, not yet. It started, but it's just amazing the way the body works and how many things really do feed off each other. It's like, wow. But anyway, so let's get to the oops. The oops of the day. This is in the political field. And after I left A&P, after 28 years with A&P, working my way up from a receiver in the back room all the way up to a corporate vice president, flying all over the country in a corporate jet and everything. It was a job that I took to shut my daddy-o up mostly, because before that I was working as a bartender, making some pretty damn good money, all cash, but that wasn't good enough for him. So he was right. Anyway, so when I retired from A&P, I started my own security company, private investigations and supplying guards and bouncers and this and that. And very tough industry to get into because it's so competitive. And, like if I can grab a job for $18 an hour, I'd have to pay my people at least $10 to keep them, but probably $11 so they don't jump off. then after the taxes are done, you're not making any money. So thank God that I had a lot of success in the private investigation end of it, because that's where you can really pump the money up good. And but through that, I had a partner at the time, may rest in peace, who was a little bit of a knucklehead, but a good guy, and came from a nice family, and they owned a pizza joint that I used to go to all the time. And then he was looking for a business to invest in, and it was going to be 4 of us, and 2 people dropped out after everything was done, after we got the office. I mean, it was one fiasco after the other. But one thing us Grassos do is we persevere. Nobody gets over on us. And, one guy I had to put through, well, just his head, but through the wall. I said, you're fucking around with my son's college money now. I put this money up and you're dropping out. And it was not a fun time. But through this connection, we needed, not we, but I don't want to say his name, so XYZ. And his family, they needed some help with some property behind their restaurant that was never built on, and they wanted to make a parking lot and another parking lot in the back, because the place and their food and their pricing, everything was just so damn good. I mean, people were coming from, sometimes 20, 25 miles away just to come eat there. So through a friend, a councilman for the town of Merrick, got an appointment to go see Mr. Tom Galata, who was the former Nassau County executive, which is like president of Nassau County. It's it's like, what's his name, the Irish guy out in Suffolk County. I can't remember his name right now, but it's a very high, well-respected position to have. It really is, seriously, no jokes. And he did it for a long time. And then, I don't know if he retired or he lost the election, but he went out and then he started his own consulting business. And a guy like Tom Galata got involved in as many things as he could. So we went to see him. And yeah, I think I can help you out with the land, property, and this and that, but I got to check this out, and blah, blah, blah. But to do all this, this is what it's going to cost every month until the job is done, and this is what I want up front, and and it was not out of reach, but it was substantial for my partner and his family. But if they could put another, say, 20 to 40 parking spots in, that's a hell of a lot more money. And they built it upstairs, and they needed help with that too. So that was easy to help, because the old permit had expired. It was grandfathered in. You didn't need a permit. Now you do, blah, 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 blah. So he took care of that. But it kept dragging on about the property. In the meantime, we were talking to him about the job and the business that we had. And, and he's asking the right questions. Well, you're a pizza guy. What are you doing? And he's, well, Sonny Grasso is my partner, and that's how I got involved, and go to meet him, and now we lay everything out. He says, okay, well, I usually get $10,000 a month as a like, what? As a consulting fee. And, can you do that? And I said, no, there's no way I can do that. The business is just starting out, and, I said, maybe down the road, depending how good you say you are, if you are, we could talk about that. But so it came down to $5,000 a month, which is a lot of money for him to be a consultant. And I'd say maybe the first 3 months went by, not even 2 months went by. And actually, he gave us a month on the arm. I talked him into that. I made him an offer he couldn't refuse. And so then we came, kick into the second month, asked $5,000. Still doesn't, have any inkling about any jobs. Now we're into the third month, and it's another $5,000. So now, he's or into us, or we're into him, however you want to look at it, for $10,000, and still nothing. So he gets a couple of PI jobs. I knock him off, bang, bang, boom, and now he's happy. I mean, verbally happy, outwardly happy, because one was for Rabbi Rabinowitz Not Rabinowitz, although he was another one that was a good guy, but Rabbi Berkowitz out of Brooklyn needed some PI work done. And I got it done for him pretty quick and not even close to what they thought they were going to spend. So that made Tom happy, of which he gets nothing. That was a deal that we made. Any PI jobs that you throw us, you get nothing. Any guard jobs if you want. No. I have to keep, and I respected him for that. You have to keep the same level of honesty as when you're not in that office anymore as when you were. So, because otherwise, as he explained, which makes sense, you can make a ton of deals with people. All right, so I'm going to retire in 90. In 91, I want this, and that. If I do this for you now, and blah, blah, blah. So, all right, so it made sense. So that's why he wanted the 5. But that was it. I didn't make much money on these PI jobs. And then he was going to get us into a couple of hospitals, and then you had to go fill out the application through the state, and it wasn't there. And so I stopped paying him. So 1 week went by, 2 weeks. So make a long story short, I get a thing in the mail that owed him $60,000, and if he doesn't pay, if we don't pay, he's going to have to take us to court because of the contract that we signed and this and that and da-da-da. And so I went and had a conversation without XYZ, just me and him one-on-one, and this, blah, blah, blah. So everything was okay. So to show that we're still friends, he has a fundraiser coming up for Governor Pataki's reelection. It was something like, I don't even know the ridiculous number, $5,000 a plate. And he's, so he invited me to come, and I said, "Could I take XYZ too?" Yeah, sure, okay. All right. So anyway, he don't want to go. I said, "You got to come. It's good for, getting in close." "No, I don't like what he did for my family. He hasn't done anything yet." "Well, good. Now's the time to spend some time with him and whatever." So I convinced him to go. He had to get a suit because he didn't own a suit, and buy a suit. And so we all met. I think we met by his house or whatever. But he had a limo for the night. So we're sitting there. Everybody's nice. And there was other people in it that we don't know. And there was, I guess, other of his quote-unquote clients. And so I'm counting around the room, around the car. And I'm saying to myself, well, if his number is usually $10,000 a month, and we're only giving him 5, so let's just drop that off. So I counted like $90,000 a month in my head from all the people that were in there. Even though I was half wrong, still still be $45,000 a month just to be a consultant. I'm like, wow, that's what I should have went into. But anyway, so we're sitting there, and Grasso, I give him a sideways look. Yeah, because I see you're awfully quiet. That's not like you. And I said, no, just doing some math in my head. And he gets a smirk on his face because he liked the way I talked to him. And he goes, "Do you understand now why I asked for that kind of money? How you think I'm gonna pay for this myself? Do you realize it's $5,000 a plate we were going, plus the limo? Everybody that's invited here, it is, so he's doing his own math in his head. And there was 12 people in the car. Actually, there was 11, I'm sorry. There was 11 of us in the car, and he goes, so there's 12 by 5, that's 60,000 right there. And I said, well, 11 you mean? He goes, well, no, me. I said, well, you have to pay for yourself? He goes, it's politics, baby, yeah. I was like, holy shit. So to go for the night with the limo and everything else, it cost him or his consulting business, whatever, but over $60,000. I was like, oh man, all right. Now I understand a little bit more. So anyway, we go. It was someplace in the city. I can never tell you where it was. I don't remember. All I remember was it was set up on 2 levels, a lot of security, booze and stations set up, and liqueur stations of new businesses trying to sell their booze and new scotches that I can't remember the name of that either. I remember it was an Irish name with an H, but very expensive. This is before the the Johnny Black Blue and everything else, but it was right, like, pretty close to that. And so, I'm just having fun. Hey, give me this, a little shrimp here, sneak out the door, have a cigarette, come back inside, we'll have a little shot of scotch, have a this or that. Having a really nice time. And, bullshitting with people and the broads that were there. Some were wives, some were not wives. Let's just leave it at that. But so we're having a good time. And so I look, and across the room, we're all brought into, there was a generic area, and then there was a VIP area. And of course, since we were with Tom Galata, we got to go to the VIP area and hang out there. And that gets the attention of the non-wife women that were there. Hey, look at that guy. He's in the VIP. So anyway, so I look and I see going in to the VIP area, Frank Perdue Chickens, And I always liked him because I liked the way he made fun of himself with his chicken farm and everything else, but then stood behind the quality of it and everything. So I always liked his commercials, and he seemed like a real down-to-earth guy. Plus, he had a couple of dances over the years with Castellano and that crew, and so it was okay. So I said, I just want to go over and introduce myself to him, So I wait and trying to get through the crowd. Everybody's talking to him, whatever. And so finally, I was like, wow, look at this line of people. Just going to look and to talk to Frank, So finally, I get up there and I shake his hand. I say, hey, I just want you to know I'm a great fan, and I loved everything that you did and you're still doing. And I want you to know I don't buy any other chicken but your own. And he looks at me, and it's a look, like not a look of delusion or a look of, I'm sorry I didn't hear you. It was a look like, what the fuck did you just say? So silence goes by again. And, it could have been 15 seconds, but imagine seeing somebody and just two ears just looking at each other 15 seconds. Seems a hell of a lot longer than that. And he goes, out loud now, he goes, what did you say? I said, I do not buy any other chicken but yours. He goes, are you being a smartass? And I said, no, Mr. Perdue, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come across that way. And he leans into me a little bit, and I could see the fire in his eyes. And he goes, listen to me, you asshole. He goes, I'm Ed Koch, former mayor of New York. I'm not Frank Perdue. Oh my God, I swear to God, I wanted to die. I went, I'm so sorry, Mr. Koch, and he kind of when you kind of shake somebody off, get away, get the fuck away from me, whatever. So I walk away, I come back, I run over and get a drink right away, and then I go over to XYZ and a couple of the other guys we were hanging out with, and I tell them, you will not believe what just happened. So they were all making jokes, like what? What? You went to shake his hand and feathers came off or whatever? So I told him this. I go, no, that's not Frank Perdue. That's Ed Koch. I mean, they could be twins. It's amazing. That thing I said before about in the palm of your hands, pull up and see if you can put a picture of the, one and one next to each other. And I think you'd say, all right, I could see how you made that mistake. Maybe, I don't know. But, I didn't do it to be, a ball buster or make a joke or anything. I really thought. That's why I couldn't understand why is everybody waiting, to go say hello to Frank Perdue. He's the type of guy I would think you could yell out across a room, But so, because you got to tell Galata. I said, I'm not telling Galata shit. Nobody, none of you better either. And so we go and we have something to eat. Now we go inside for the formal part of it. But before you go in, certain people, this is the thing that got me. It was $5,000 a plate. I'm sorry, it was $10,000 a plate, where I was wrong, not $5,000. It was $10,000 a plate. And I'm not wrong now. I mean, I was wrong then because I misunderstood what Galata had said. It was $5,000 a picture to have your picture taken with Governor Pataki. I'm looking at it right now because it's on my wall. And but because he was very close with Tom Galata, they worked out some kind of a deal. But Galata still had to pay for anybody that wanted to have a picture taken. So yeah, of course I would have a picture taken with an Italian governor of New York. Yeah, And he goes, all right, come with me. So they came. Not everybody wanted to, but so me, XYZ, Tom Galata, a couple other guys, we walk over, and there's a line, and he makes Pataki makes a movement like that. So we get to go around the line, and Tom Galata goes first. I'm sorry, so and so goes first. Then I went. Galata was behind me. I said, "Hey, Tom, go." He goes, "No, go ahead." So he was letting all these guys go, and he stood off to the side. He goes, "I got 1,000,000 pictures of me and Pataki. I don't need any more pictures." But he kind of stood off to the side, like a papa or a mama duck who is watching the little ducklings as they cross the street. And so I get up there, and I came up to his friggin' belt. And so I make a joke. I said, "Do you have a high chair or anything?" Not even a crack of a smile from Pataki. So Galata yells out to Pataki, yeah, he's a ball buster, so don't worry about it, but he's a good guy. And he goes, okay, well, if Tom says you're a good guy, then you're a good guy. I said, all right, thank you. So we're shaking hands. We're facing each other, but then you got to turn your head out to look to the camera, which is so unnatural, but whatever. And so as we start to shake hands, he goes, are you the guy that called Koch, Frank Perdue? I was devastated. How did he know? It had only happened 20 minutes ago. Anyway, I went, well, unfortunately, yes. He goes, well, don't feel bad. They do look like twins to each other. And he goes, I'm not a fan of Ed Koch anyway, but so thank you for the laugh that I got out of it. And then he snapped the picture. When you see the picture, and I'll put it up on Facebook one day, there's not an expression on my face, and Pataki's got a big smile on his face. So, okay, then we walk away. Everybody's all done. Now we're walking back, and Galata's like, hey, come on, let's go. It's getting late. Getting late. It was only like a little after 10. But for them who've got to get up early in the morning, whatever, get the limo back, and all right, so let's go. So we'll start going, and he grabs my arm from behind, and he pulls me back. He goes, what was that all about? And I said, what? And he goes, with Pataki. So I told him the story. He goes, you see, that's why I don't like coming to these things, and that's why I don't like bringing my clients to these things, because some people don't know how to act. And he walked away. So XYZ says, was he serious? I said, I don't know. I think he might have been serious. And he was. He didn't talk to me all the way home. He didn't say a word. Other people were talking to him in the limo, didn't say a word to me. And then the next time we had to go back and talk about this extra money that he wanted, he was strictly business. No more busting balls or busting chops or anything else until I, did a couple of my things and got him to crack a smile. Then I said, you treated me like I was your kid or something, like I was some piece of shit. I seriously thought that I was online to go see Frank Perdue. So, what are you getting so upset with me about? It's just embarrassing because I'm the one that brought you there, and you embarrassed the former mayor, who happens to be a good friend of mine, and you embarrassed him, in front of everybody that was standing around. I was like, wow. There is the way they live and the way they operate within and out each other, and the way they all entangled and everything else. They're just like, they're like the mob. What can I tell you? I go, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to make an apology? You want me to find out where Ed Koch is and tell him I'm sorry? I'm sorry you look like Frank Perdue. What the fuck are you talking about? You're being really stupid. I said, I'm going to make it easy for you. He goes, what? I said, don't invite me to any more things. So I think 2 weeks went by, and then his secretary, Barbara, something would it be, called and said, if you're free, Tom would like to take you to lunch tomorrow. Piccola Brusela over. So, all right, so I go there. And he had his son with him. He's had some problems with his son, just leave it at that. So we had a nice lunch, laughing, joking, all sitting by ourselves, and now he's laughing hysterical at the story. And to show you how things, come full circle. Scratches off, rips up the thing in front of me. Don't worry about the rest of this. And if I can ever throw anything your way, I will. And I said, all right, thank you. I appreciate that. When all was said and done, I had given him 20 grand out of my pocket. Like the last 20 grand I had. Again, like I said with the other guy, that was my kid's college money that you're screwing around with. And I think not even a year later, the same son that we were having that lunch with ended up taking his own life. He had a problem with drugs, and it was all over the paper and the news and everything out in Nassau County. He did it in the schoolyard somewhere. So I wrote a poem about a father and a son and a mother and a son and family, and how when something like that, the shock and blah, 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 and, whatever. And he liked it so much that, of course, that he had it framed and put on a casket. He had it read at the church, and he had it read, the poem read again at the, and I was sick with my cancer, so I couldn't attend any of those things. But people that went and told me. And then when they went to the cemetery to bury it, he had them read it one more time, and he buried a copy of it with them in the ground. So it was all very touching. So, it goes to show you that you can, I'm living proof, unfortunately, you can make an ass out of yourself, and you can stick your foot in your mouth many, many, many times, and, not on purpose. But as long as you be yourself and always let your true self and your true heart shine through, the circle becomes complete. And that's what happened here. But up until that, oh my God Almighty, how many mistakes could I make at one place? Asking Pataki if I could have a high chair so I could, be equal with him, calling Ed Koch, fucking Frank Perdue. But so anyway, that is another whoops, I did it again story. And up until we defunct the business, and Tom has since passed away. But a very sad day, like I said, when his son passed away. But up until that point, that became one of the stories that he told at a lot of functions. And, and he premised it all on, as like kind of a joke kind of thing. But I know a lot of people, they get mad because I don't bring them to certain situations, and I don't bring them to certain, VIP political functions. But let me explain to you why. And then he goes on to tell the Sonny Grasso story. Thank God, never given the name, but still, But people who knew, like that saying now, today is very popular. If you know, you know. And that's what it means, that saying. I'm going to tell you a story. If you know, then you know. In other words, if you don't know who I'm talking about, shut up, because I'm not going to tell you. So if you know, you know. And he got a kick out of my "oops, I did it again" in real life. And I swear to you, to this day, it was not to be disrespectful or to be a smart ass or anything else. I really thought that I was meeting Frank Perdue. Anyway, and at the let's call this, whatever they used to call that thing at the end of the shows, not the prelude, the prolude, the exalude, whatever the hell it is, give me ludes, at the son's funeral, I was able to go to the church, but I couldn't go to the burial. I don't remember why. I think maybe I had chemo that day, I don't know. But everybody was there, dignitaries, everything. Tom Galata had far-reaching friends all the way to the White House. And Frank Perdue, that's the joke. But Ed Koch did show up, and I was sitting in the row behind the Galata family, or 2 rows behind the Galata family. And, he came in when we, everybody all sits down, and after you walk past the casket. But it was, like I said, it was a closed casket. And but when he came in and he sat down, he saw me as he was going to sit down. And again, still, the look that he gave me, it's like, it's either, if we were like out in the street, it's like, okay, that's it. You gotta get up and you gotta punch him, and then whatever happens after that. But I was like, oh my God, I guess he's still harboring it, But anyway, so that's it. hope you got a couple of chuckles out of that. So far, I think it's 5 or 6 weeks now of embarrassing myself that I'm sharing with everybody out there. But, it's, and if you don't, people say, oh, you got to be there when they tell a story. You don't have to be there. I think I express it enough and color it up enough so you can actually picture it in your head. But unbelievable. Unbelievable. Daddy-O never knew that story, but I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything on my notes here. With Pataki. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. It was a step stool, not a high chair, which makes sense. I said before high chair. I asked for a step stool. Do you have a step stool? So I'll put the picture up one day and you won't believe it. Like I literally, the top of my head, I think, comes to his shoulder. Very crazy, very tall man. But he was very nice too. So anyway, there you go. Everybody have a good day the rest of the Ash Wednesday. And as always, much love and prayers and respect, especially during this whole Lenten season as we work our way up to Easter and the other holidays, Rosh Hashanah or whatever they are. What is it? Passover. That was a joke to they know who they are. And every day. So next week we'll do number 7, and I think we're going to do the Jake Galata story. I think it's time. Although I got to come back. I got time, but I'll come back to another 1 or 2 Godfather stories too, since we're in the 50th anniversary. But again, because I ramble on too much, without sound on, I got the TV on the wall, and I cannot believe this show. Forget The View, that's like ultimate puke. But whoever took over this freaking talk show, which used to be, semi enjoyable, got all assholes now on the show. They're coming out. They're dancing. The crowd is cheering like somebody just discovered, a cure for COVID-19, which is so unreal and so fake. It's like watching last night's State of the Union. And this guy, Jerry, whatever the hell his name is, he thinks he's the best looking guy. And, God almighty. Somebody should get involved in that in these TV shows and just say, you know what, we don't need to see this shit no more. Put them all on in after 7 o'clock. It's time to reverse, I think, and put all the soap operas and all these stupid ass shit shows that are on during the daytime. Put them on at night, and then take the nighttime shows and put them in the daytime. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know what it is? It's because of the damn housewives. They're the ones. They're the ones that are putting these shows on because they just sit around all day and do nothing, right? That was a joke. I was just trying to talk till it's an even, right? 3, 2, 1, boom! There you go. 40 hours so far of iPods, iPads, iPads, Popeye and olive oil. So anyway, have a good night, everybody. I love you. Thanks. Share it. Tell everybody about it. Tell her about it. All right. See you later.